People often ask me if I run out of ideas, but we have over 10,000 varieties of flowers in Western Australia alone, so I never run out of inspiration. I'm Helen Ansell. I'm a full-time established artist. I live in a tiny little town called Mahalia, which is an hour inland from Geraldton. I have a gallery and my subject is West Australian flora and fauna, and I sell paintings of wildflowers to tourists from all around the world. I grew up in outback Western Australia, predominantly between Meekatharra and Wiluna. So I went to school in Meekatharra, but in Wiluna my dad had a station, 350,000 acres, 75 kilometres out from the small Aboriginal town of Wiluna. And I had a very unique childhood in that I grew up partially on an Aboriginal community. So I had these amazing childhood experiences where we would sleep out under the stars next to the campfire, tell stories. I learnt a lot of the language, and I was unofficially adopted into the people group out there. So they're all my aunties and uncles and cousins and nephews and nieces. I never thought that art was going to be something that I would do full time. It just never occurred to me. But I was surrounded by artists in Wiluna. A lot of the ladies, we would sit down and paint together under the shade of a tree, and they would do their dot painting, and we'd talk and yarn all day as we're painting. When I went to the UK on a working holiday visa, I ended up hiring a studio full-time and was working as a full-time artist when I was there, which was really a dream come true. All of my work these days is West Australian flora and fauna. When I came back from the UK, the first exhibition that I did was purely West Australian flowers. And it was received really well. Not only did it get a sellout show, but I started to get attention from commercial galleries and media about what I was doing. Obviously, I've got my own very unique styles. My work's very contemporary and modern. I base all of my work on real plants and flowers, so anyone who recognises the flower will recognise straight away what it is, but I obviously have my own take on it. So I kind of simplify things, and I look at shapes and colours and patterns, and I like to really highlight different things and exaggerate things, and it's just educating people about all the amazing variety that we have here in Western Australia. I never ever thought that moving to Mahalia would be a career move. I thought I'd have this as a base and I'd send my work down to Perth to sell. But when I got here, to my surprise, I realised that this was a real tourist destination, and that for 2 months of the year for the wildflowers we have thousands, probably about 5,000 people come through my gallery in those 2 months. It's a beautiful space that we've converted into a gallery, and during the months of August and September we have it as a full-time gallery and cafe, open 7 days a week, and then the rest of the year I have it as a studio. But what's been really amazing about this experience is that I'm now selling more work in this tiny little gallery. In my town, it only has 300 people, than I was when I had big fancy exhibitions right in the CBD of Perth. Here where I live, I can drive 5 minutes and I'm in the bush. My kids can play in the creek, the water's clean, they can be with nature. When coronavirus shut down the world, we weren't really affected because they couldn't go to a playground, but they could play in nature, which was really amazing. A lot of people, when they come to Australia, they might visit the big cities like Sydney and Melbourne, but I feel like if they want to get a real experience of Australia, that they need to come to the outback. A lot of the older people here in town tell me about when Mahalia used to be in its heyday. So they said there used to be 3 car yards in town. There were dancers in the town hall every night. When they come in every Sunday after Mass at the Catholic Church, and they just say, "Oh Helen, we love what you're doing so much," it's so special to me that the locals are really behind what I'm doing.